New York City in the background. Um, Getting ready for round 3 of Squad Up. How we're better together. We have a different kind of pre-service for you tonight. Usually it's like John and Eric Wade, myself, Yuli, could be some others doing some silly type of thing. But we're gonna actually do our pre-service game is going to be some students. Some of you who are watching right now, actually, we recorded a game tonight. We're actually talking about an escape room, and it's going to be part of our message. So we're going to do this escape room. How many of you, just put in the comments, how many of you have ever been to an escape room? Put in there like I've been to an escape room, or me too, whatever. Drop that in the comments. Let me know. Have you ever been to an escape room? So if you don't know what an escape room is, essentially you go in with usually 6 to 8 people, go into a room, and you get locked in. And everything in the room is a possible clue. So you walk around, you look at things, but there's also stuff in the room. There could be posters or signs or anything could be laying around, and it could be throwing you off, and it's not a clue at all. It's just there to throw you off. But you have to take the clues that you find and then work those clues and figure out how to unlock things and open boxes and get to the next room and all that stuff. So we're actually talking about an escape room tonight. I'm going to be talking about that in the message tonight. And so I thought it'd be fun to do an actual escape room. Now, escape rooms aren't open right now because you can't be in that kind of close quarters at this moment. So what we did was we got online and we did a digital escape room with some students. We have 5 students we're going to introduce in just a moment over Zoom. And they watched, I just burped. So funny. And I haven't even had dinner yet. That's my stomach saying, I want dinner, so feed me. So anyhow, we did this virtual escape room, which I want to tell you, if you just search virtual escape room, actually search for virtual escape room Disney Unlock or something like that. It is that's not the one we're going to do right now. It is a super cool one, and it takes some time, and sometime we'll actually share with you an Instagram filter. So for those of you on Instagram, or if you're on YouTube or your Facebook, but you want to see the Instagram filter, I have this amazing Instagram filter that's a virtual escape room that you can play and do on your story and see how well you do. You actually can walk around with your phone. It's like AR, and there's things to touch on the screen. It's unbelievable. Anyhow, that's for another time, but we're gonna go, I'm gonna send it over to our Zoom, where we're gonna do a virtual Zoom, virtual escape room with my 5 friends here. So let's jump on to our Zoom call. All right, we are here with our team that's gonna play tonight's game, and we're doing an escape room. And what I want you to do, we're gonna have you go around and introduce yourselves and tell us where you're streaming from.
Hi, I'm Kaylee, and I'm streaming from Ontario campus.
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm streaming from the Banning campus.
Hi, I'm Alicia, and I'm streaming from the Banning campus.
Hi, I'm Lynn. I'm streaming from the Banning campus.
All right, and we are gonna go. I'm gonna share my screen here, and I'm gonna go to our first clue. So we're gonna do, this one's called Escape from Wonderland Digital Escape Room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this is the Escape from Wonderland Digital Escape Room, and I'm gonna read, and we're gonna go through the clues. Daydreaming of Wonderland. You're sitting under a tall shade tree in the backyard on a pleasant spring day. Your cat Dinah is snuggled next to you, and you hold a thick history textbook in your hands. You're supposed to be reading. It's such a beautiful day that you can't resist gazing at your surroundings. The bees are buzzing, birds are singing, flowers are swaying, and the sun shines gently on you. You stretch drowsily and wonder why you even have to study history. It'd be so much more fun to live in a wonderland where you don't have to explain anything and nothing makes sense. Suddenly, you see a white rabbit rush briskly past you. You notice that he seems to be wearing a jacket and tie with a pocket watch in his paw. Thinking that this is the most curious thing you've ever seen, you decide to run after him. So we're going to go next. Curiosity often leads to trouble. The strange white rabbit runs into a hole. You stop to peer inside, but you can't see him in the darkness. Suddenly, you lose your balance and tumble into the rabbit hole deep underground.
Hello?
All right, so we're going to go to the next one. The hurrier I go, the behinder I get. You fall to the bottom of the tunnel with a painful thud. You get up, dust yourself off, and look around. On one wall of the cave, you see a series of strange-looking clocks. Their ticks and tocks are almost deafening as they echo throughout the tunnel. You look down and see a tiny doorway through which you believe the white rabbit has passed. You try to turn the knob, but it won't budge. To your surprise, the doorknob speaks to you. It explains that it is locked, but it will open if you're able to tell time on the clocks. You look closely at the clocks and realize that they have letters on them instead of numbers. You almost lose hope, but then you remember that these clocks have Roman numerals instead of numbers. You remember the lessons you just watched and study the clocks closely, determined to pass through this door. So we're going to look at this video on Roman numerals.
Hi, let's learn about Roman numerals. The Romans showed numbers into the thousands using these 7 symbols. I for 1, V for 5, and so on. We still see Roman numerals on some clocks and buildings. They work like this. I for 1, I for 2, I for 3. And then, to make 4, they put a 1 in front of a 5 to mean 1 less than 5. Then V for 5. Then VI, meaning 1 more than 5, for 6. Did you see that? Putting 1 before 5 makes 4, but putting it after 5 makes 6. 7. 8. And then to make 9, they put a 1 in front of a 10 to mean 1 less than 10. Then X for 10. XI for 11. Putting 1 before 10 makes 9, but putting it after 10 makes 11. 12, and so on.
All right, so that's all we really need for what we need here. So when we look at this clock, okay, what time does this clock show? So you know them, you just walk through the Roman numerals. Is it 6:30? Is it 7:45? Is it 8:10 or 9:10? What do you guys think?
I think it's 8:10.
8:10?
Yeah.
Everybody else agrees?
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, we're gonna click 8:10. Anybody think it's something different? All right, I'm gonna click next. Is it correct? Aha, you got it right. All right. What time does this clock show? Does it show 11:06, 10:10, 11, or 12?
11:06.
11:06.
11:06. You guys all agree? Thumbs up. All right, let's go next. All right, this clock here. Does it show 11:30, 5:25, 6:45, or 10:20?
10:20.
And 20.
Thumbs up if you agree. All right, we're going to go with 10:20. Next. Aha, you're right. All in the golden afternoon. The little door swings open. Suddenly you shrink to the size of a doll. You walk through the doorway easily and are amazed at what you find on the other side. You don't see the white rabbit, of course, but blades of grass and flower stalks and blooms tower above you. You see the rabbit run into a neat little cottage and follow him inside. As you are searching for the rabbit, you start to feel funny. Suddenly your arms and legs start to grow, and before you know it, your body has filled the house. A puzzling caterpillar advises you to eat the flowers in the garden in order of greatest to least in order to regain your normal size. So you have to eat the flowers in order of greatest to least in order to regain your normal size. So these are the flowers here. There's some bugs on there as well. So how many tulips are there? Should count the tulips. Anybody know which ones are the tulips?
The pink ones.
The pink ones? These
9.
here? 9?
9.
Yeah, 9.
9. Okay, we're going to put 9 here. All right. How many morning glories are there? You know which one the morning glory is?
Red purple ones.
Okay.
7.
Agree with that? 7. Okay. How many daisies are there? Which one's a daisy?
White ones.
White
5.
ones. How many?
5.
5.
5. All right. 5. And how many daffodils are there? Which one's a daffodil? I think it's the only one left, right?
10.
We in agreement? 10?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. 10. Okay. So in what order must you eat the flowers? Remember, you have to eat them in the order of greatest to least in order to regain your normal size. So is it, I'm going to leave this up here so you can see. Is it daffodils, morning glories, tulips, daisies? Morning glories, tulips, daffodils, daisies. Daffodils, tulips, morning glories, and daisies. Or tulips, daffodils, daisies, and morning glories. Greatest to least.
The third one?
Third one, daffodils, tulips, morning glories, and daisies. We all agree?
Yes.
All right. Click next. Now you're restored to normal size. You continue to pursue your pursuit of the white rabbit. On the way, you encounter a most mysterious cat, a grinning Cheshire cat to be exact. You tell the cat that you're following the white rabbit and ask him which way you should go. He tells you you could visit either the March Hare or the Mad Hatter. It doesn't really matter because both of them are mad. More confused than ever, you continue down the path and come to a clearing in the woods where a beautiful tea party has been set. Crowded at one end of the large table are the March Hare and the Mad Hatter and the Dormouse. Okay, so there's the table setting. We're going to click next. You approach the party and ask them for help locating the white rabbit. They ignore you because you are debating the answer to a riddle that they've been trying to solve. Realizing that they will not help you until they have an answer, you ask them to tell you the riddle so they may help you, so maybe you can help. They pour you a cup of tea and you listen closely to the riddle. A woman was born in 1916, but she celebrated her 26th birthday in 2020. Explain how this is possible using just 2 words. Hint, use lowercase letters only.
Leap year?
Leap year. Do we agree? Who said that?
Me.
We agree? You guys think it's leap year?
Yeah.
All right, let's go leap year. You think it could be something else? No? Okay. You're right. Good job. All right. You triumphantly share the answer with the Tea Party assembly, but still no one will help you finding the white rabbit. You start to ask yourself why you're so interested in the white rabbit anyway. You can't really remember, and you think maybe studying history isn't so bad after all. You decide that you've had enough of this nonsense and decide to go back home. You realize that you are very lost in the woods. The Cheshire Cat reappears and tells you you must meet the Queen of Hearts before you can return home. He shows you a shortcut to the Queen's castle. Off with your head. As you approach the castle, you notice soldiers that look like playing cards displaying 4 different suits: spades, clubs, diamonds, and hearts. They are using red paint to cover the white roses, which were ordered by mistake. They believe that painting them red will please the Queen and ask you to help them. Thinking that you want to get the Queen's good side, you start to help. The Queen unexpectedly approaches, and you are surprised to see the white rabbit by her side. The red paint runs off the roses, and the tyrannical Queen mistakenly believes that you and the soldiers were painting red roses white. She becomes enraged and glares at you, bellowing, "Off with your head!" You try to explain your side of the story to the Queen, but she refuses to listen. She offers you a choice. You may either have a trial or answer a riddle. You have decided that a trial in this kingdom is unlikely to be fair, so you tell her that you will try your hand at the riddle. She smiles wickedly and pulls you over to a nearby table. From her pocket, she pulls 3 cards and places them face down on the table. With a sly grin, she begins. To the left of the Queen are 2 jacks. To the right of the Queen are 1 or 2 jacks. To the right of the club are 1 or 2 diamonds. To the left of the diamond are 1 or 2 diamonds. What are the 3 cards? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Or is it either B or C? So you guys are gonna have to talk it out.
Okay, to the left of the Queen are 1 or 2 jacks.
So which ones could that be?
I can't tell what the cards are.
Okay, so this is in A, it's a queen of diamonds, a jack of clubs, and a jack of diamonds. In B, it's a jack of clubs, a jack of diamonds, and queen of diamonds. And C is jack of diamonds, jack of clubs, and queen of hearts. So talk it out together.
Maybe C, maybe?
All right, why do you think C?
Because to the left of the queen are two jacks.
Okay, so that fits.
To the right of the jack, there's one or two jacks.
Okay, so that fits.
To the right of the club are two diamonds.
One or two diamonds. Yep, so there's a diamond.
And to the left of the diamond are one or two diamonds.
Okay, so C, do we all agree? Thumbs up?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Ah, after you guess the correct answer, the queen stands in stunned silence. You take the opportunity to run through the crowd and out of the castle door. In your haste, you trip over a red paint bucket next to one of the rose bushes. You're terrified to see the soldiers approaching as you black out. When you wake up, your heart is racing. You quickly sit upright, ready to start running again. But when you look around, all you see is your backyard. It must have all been strange, curious dream. You pick up your history book with renewed interest. The end. Great job, guys. So tonight, at the end of our service, one of you, we're going to put all of your names into the prize wheel just for one. So one of the five of you is going to win a prize. And then because we weren't able to give away a prize last week, we're going to give away a second prize to everybody who comments. But the first round is just for the five of you. So one of the five of you is going to win a prize. So thank you guys so much for playing. Appreciate it. And we'll see you back in the service. Here we go.
Hi guys, welcome back.
Hi guys, welcome to another Wednesday night service. We're so excited that you guys are here joining us. We want to say hello to our friends on Instagram and our friends on Facebook and our friends on YouTube. Yeah, and speaking of YouTube, I don't know if you guys know or not, but we do have a YouTube channel. We are on YouTube, just like your favorite YouTubers. Make Sunrise Church one of your favorite YouTubers. Follow us. Back here, you'll see our YouTube @name. We are Sunrise Students CA. Go ahead and hit follow, and while you're hitting follow, definitely turn on the notification bell so that you always get a notification once we are live or when we post a new video on our channel.
All right, so along with that, we also have an Instagram. So if you're already on Instagram, go ahead and give us a follow. But if you're not yet, we are at Sunrise Students CA. Go ahead and turn on our notification post so you guys can get notified for every time we upload a video or we go live. We also are very active, liking your guys' stuff, going live, doing TikTok dances. Pastor John and Pastor Eric with the K and Pastor Eric Wade get real crazy. And then we also have Snacks with Yuli. So we have tons of fun stuff. So make sure that you give us a follow and turn on our notifications so you guys are notified every time we post.
That's right. And like Carla just said, speaking of Instagram, Monday through Thursday, we do have Devos at Dose, where one of our pastors or one of our leaders goes on there. They share a 90-second Devo with you guys, which is short for devotional, just in case you didn't know, but I'm sure you did. And if you are not receiving the notification of the Devos on your phone, you can go ahead and text the number. Let me pull it up so I don't get it wrong. It is 81010 and text at Sunrise Dev to 81010. Do it right now. You're on your phone. Send that. And then like that, you never miss a Devo. It's a very short message, but it definitely fills your spirit during the week.
And finally, our last announcement is Wednesday Live, what you are already doing right now. We want to give you guys a space and just an open door for you guys to get a little bit more plugged in, for you guys to have genuine relationships and connections closer to Christ. So those are also included in small groups. So to join a small group, you go to sunrisechurch.org/students to get plugged in. You guys can get connected and everything. So you guys can do that right now. Make sure to be plugged in so you guys can be connected with your friends, with your leaders, and you guys won't miss a beat. You will not regret it. So next we are going to be going over to Pastor John. Yes? Okay. Thanks, guys.
What's happening, everybody? Man, that's some killer. Would you moving your head with that music? Because that was kind of bomb. But anyway, my name's John. I'm one of the pastors, and super excited to be here with you guys. Thank you for all those great announcements to our lovely hosts, and we are going to transition into our talk for tonight. And as you can see on the screen, our theme has been Squad Up. We started this a couple weeks ago, and the sub kind of idea to that is we're better together. And I couldn't think of a more perfect season to start thinking about that than tonight, because I love sports. I don't know if you love sports, but I love sports. If you're not into sports, that's okay. You could put it in the feed. Maybe you love sports. In fact, if you're in the feed, tell me your favorite sport or maybe your favorite team. I know the two Erics are always, our two pastors that are named Eric are always battling over baseball and Dodgers, Red Sox, whatnot. I'm kind of a basketball guy, but I love the fact that during this time of the year, baseball is in full swing. Football they're in camps and they're getting ready to start their season in a few weeks, so they're hitting each other and working hard. And then basketball, which is my favorite, are in playoffs. And what's amazing is if you're reading the news even just today, there were some teams, and this is what I love about sports, is that teams can come together, squads, they can come together and they begin to work together. And especially if you study sports, over time, there are winning teams that share similar qualities. So what I want to do is I want to encourage you to get involved and put something in the feed. I'm going to ask you this question. What is one quality that you've noticed in every kind of winning team? There are certain qualities that every winning team is going to have. I want you in the feed to write down one quality that you see in every winning team. Because I think these are things that are shared. It doesn't matter what the sport is, doesn't matter what the competition is. If there are teams that are winning, then they usually share these similar qualities. And I love basketball because even today in the news, as I referenced earlier, there was 3 different playoff games that got canceled because teams decided to stand up for their belief in social justice and their belief in the need for reform in our social justice. And so they decided they weren't going to play in tonight's games because they were going to stick together and band together to be able to make a statement. Some of the football guys have been making statements by kneeling down. Some of the baseball guys did their thing. Everybody's had different ways. It's interesting to me to note when teams get together to do something that they would consider to be great. And winning is certainly fun and it's great and it's one of the things we want to do. But there are other things that obviously we can pull together as a team as well. But it's hard for me when I think about sports to not think about one time in my life when I was in high school. I was just finished my junior year in high school, so I was going into my senior year. And I was going to summer camp. I don't know if you like summer camp. Anybody like summer camp? Throw in the feed. Let me know if you like summer camp. What's your favorite thing about summer camp? My favorite thing about summer camp was every summer when we went to camp, we would go with like 10, 12 other churches. And every summer we would have Camper Counselor Challenge. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to a summer camp where they have this, but we used to have every day of summer camp. We had 5 days. Each day there was a different challenge where the campers would all get together and play against the counselors. Like one was ultimate frisbee. We did volleyball. We did football. We did basketball. Now, here's the interesting thing. Up until my junior year in high school, I was told at least that there hadn't been any year where the campers had beat the counselors in anything. Like the counselors were undefeated against the campers. Part of this because you had grown people that were counselors going against teenagers. But the other part of it was that the teenagers had never decided that they were going to be a team. They had never decided they were going to come together and try to work together to make each other better. And instead, they would always fight with each other, and they would try to figure out who was going to be the star, and they would ball hog, and they would, it didn't matter what the sport was, they just wouldn't work together. Well, we decided this year that we were all going to work together. So we got a bunch of friends, and we all decided that this is going to be our team, and we're going to work together, and we're going to beat the counselors this year. And lo and behold, when it came to basketball, that was the thing I remember most. Again, nobody had ever beaten the counselors. They were bigger, they were stronger, all that good stuff. And we actually beat the counselors because we worked together using some of the words that you guys have put in the feed. Communication and teamwork and kindness and, thinking of the other guy first and all of that stuff we did. And we shared the ball and we worked together and we won. And I was so excited because we were the first team to ever win with the campers against the counselors. And we were so excited because the next day was football. Football was always on the last day of camp, and it was the most exciting event of the whole. We actually left the campground to go to a local school, and we'd play football. It was just flag football, but we would play this on the field. And we had guys who were football stars on our team, and we had, but some of the counselors had played in college. Some of them even played in the pros, and so they had some really good guys. So we decided we were going to try to win again, but this time, unlike basketball, we did not display all the attributes that we had the day before. We argued, we fought, different guys wanted to be the quarterback. Actually, everybody wanted to be the quarterback. Nobody wanted to block. Nobody wanted to be a team player, and the counselors crushed us. Now, I'm telling you these stories because when it comes to being a squad, when it comes to being a team, we all know what it's like when teams go well and when they do well, no matter what it is you might be working on. Maybe you have a team of guys you play video games with, and you guys work really well together. Maybe you work with a group of people on a team that you play on. Maybe you just get together and you plan an epic road trip, or you do something to help out a cause. And there's different things that we can do. But here's the thing that you all know. When you work together and display some of these attributes, it goes really well. When you don't, it could be a disaster. And as we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about how understanding teamwork and squads translates into us being followers of God and us being in church. We all know that sometimes our friends, our groups of friends, our friend groups, sometimes they could be more like a reality TV show than a team, right? Sometimes they could get into arguing and competing and comparing and criticizing and all of that stuff. Maybe you're involved in that right now as you've gone back to school, and even though a lot of you are on digital school, maybe you're texting and then you've blocked somebody and you tried to shame them on social media, and these are people that were your close friends and now they're not. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk today as we continue through this letter to the Ephesians. We're going to talk through God's word and discover what it is that we can do for each other as a team or as a squad. And to do that, the next person you're going to see is Pastor Eric Williams, Eric with a K, right?
So the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about community, right? And what it means to be Jesus followers and how it's not meant to be done alone, right? The church functions sometimes, it seems to function where people try to do their own thing or try to be in charge of their own thing, but that's not how the church was designed to function. It's designed to function with people together. The hard part is the church is people, right? The church isn't a building. The church isn't an event. The church is people. That's the good thing, and that's also the difficult thing, because the reality is, and I don't have to come up with a list of examples because you know this, right? There are Christians, Jesus followers, who are judgmental. They have hurt you. Maybe they have said something behind your back, or they've been rude, right? How many times, if you've ever seen one of those stickers on the back of a car that's like a shape of a fish, that was this whole thing, ichthus. It was a thing that they would use back in Bible times when it was, you didn't want people to know that you were a Christian. They would draw half of a fish in the sand and somebody else would draw the other half so that they could see that, oh, this person's a Christian. And was this like secret symbol. Now you can see those on bumper stickers, and often those bumper stickers are going to be the ones who well, I'm not saying often, but people who have had that fish bumper sticker have cut me off. Or if I didn't do something on purpose, like I pulled over and I didn't see somebody, they might give me some gestures being mad, and then they drive past fast, and there's that little bumper sticker with a little fish. So there's plenty of examples of Christians who aren't helping the church grow, right? But I want to tell you about a time when there was a group of guys in my life that helped me to grow in my faith. So when I first became a youth pastor in Atlanta, Georgia, it was 27 years ago. That's a long time ago. I know, 27 years ago. In May I passed 27 years. I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I'd moved down from New York. And I wasn't married yet. I had a year. Jeananne was still in college. She had one more year, and then we got married the summer after she graduated. But I got to know some guys that first year, and there was a group of guys. There were 6 of us, five friends of mine: Steve, Steven, Mark, Brian, and Mike. And we decided we're going to get together and do some, like, a Bible study. We're going to hold each other accountable. And we ended up, there's a passage in Proverbs, I'm blanking on what the reference is, I think 13 maybe or something like that, but that says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And we took that verse and we called ourselves the Iron Men. We thought we were pretty darn original. Apparently that's been around for a long time, but we call ourselves the Iron Men. And in our group, we would get together once a week at the church, and we would pray for each other. We would study the Bible together. We would ask accountability type of questions, like if there was something that there was a sin issue that we were struggling with or a temptation that we had, we would share that, and then we'd pray for each other for that week, and then we'd say, okay, so how did you do with this temptation or with this area of sin that you've been struggling with? And then we just made a covenant. We said we're going to be honest with each other with our answers. And then we would reply, and at the end, we would be asked, did you tell me the truth, or are you lying right now? So it was high levels of accountability, but these guys helped me to grow in my faith with Jesus. They helped me to become a better Jesus follower because of their impact and their investment in my life and their prayer for me and the same giving back to them. These are guys, like, they literally help shape my entire future life for how I would act, how I would live my life in being a pastor and being a friend and how I treat other people. But God's family isn't perfect. We would talk about our imperfections all the time, but I hope my story is a reminder to you that God, the way of God can work through the church. God can use the church, God's people, right? The church is God's people in incredible ways. And we're going to continue our study. We're doing this. We're in our third week of Squad Up. We're better together. And we've been looking in the book of Ephesians in the Bible. Ephesians is it's a short book. It's a great book. I want to encourage you actually just to open it up this week and read through it. It's not going to take you long. Maybe you read one chapter a day. There are 6 chapters in Ephesians, and literally every chapter in there is just filled with great stuff. So the last 2 weeks, real quick recap. So we've been talking about the church, right? The people of God. So you and me, if you've stepped into a relationship with Jesus, you confessed your sin, you've invited him to be part of your life, it means you're a Jesus follower, you're a Christian. You and I, we are the church. Now we're in a building right here. We call it the church. We call it Sunrise Church Rialto. It's a Rialto campus. But the church is all believers and all Jesus followers, and it's all over the world. And this book in the Bible, the book of Ephesians, was originally written as a letter to the church in Ephesus. It was written to the whole community of people that were Jesus followers in the church of Ephesus. And it was designed to be read together. So that's why I love that we're doing this together right here, whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, we're doing this together. And the last 2 weeks, so chapter 1, Paul kind of talks about how the church is God's family, right? And everyone is invited. Everyone is invited to the family of God. And chapter 2, what we talked about last week, is that we all mess up. And just like Jesus forgave us and has made peace with us, we need to forgive one another when someone messes up and hurts us. And we're going to skip chapter 3 for right now, but I want to encourage you, jump into chapter 3. It's chock full of stuff. But we're going to take a look at chapter 4 today. And this is kind of the nitty-gritty of being a Jesus follower. That Paul is writing this letter to the church of Ephesus, and it's this nitty-gritty of how we're supposed to work together despite our differences. So I'm gonna read from Ephesians chapter 4, and I'm gonna just jump around a little bit, looking at verses 1 through 6. It says this: Therefore, I, a prisoner for serving the Lord, beg you to lead a life worthy of your calling, for you have been called by God. Always be humble, be patient, and with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. Make every effort to keep yourselves united in spirit, binding yourselves together with peace. For there's one body and one spirit, just as you've been called to one glorious hope for the future. Right? So skip to verse 6 here, and that's the next slide there. Verse 6 says, go to the next slide. Just joking. We'll stop there. But the whole idea is that we're called to be together. It's this unity. We're part of something bigger than just ourselves, right? And we're supposed to grow in maturity together, not just on our own. That's the design that God has for us. So how can God's family act like a squad or a team when honestly we're all so different, right? Eric Wade is very different than this Eric. Even though, like, I was at the Banning campus for 6 weeks back in October, November. And so we called ourselves Eric with a K, W, 1 and 2. Because we both spell our first name the same way. His last name is Wade. My last name is Williams. He's very different than I am. John is very different than me or Eric. Yuli is very different than the three of us. And Darlene and Carla, I mess that up all the time. Darlene and Carla, they're different. Like, we're all different, right? The church is made up of imperfect people. But think about it like a team. So John talked about team at camp, right? He talked about how he got the students together to beat the counselors. But they had to work together as a team. But think think of whatever your favorite sport is. I know you put it in the chat earlier, but you think about whatever your favorite sport is. On that team, you need every player. So think about football, for instance. The quarterback cannot win a game against 11 players by himself, right? He needs his blockers. He needs his running back. He needs his receivers. He needs all of those in order to move forward on offense. And then the defense team has to be there as well. The line, they're all needed. They all function differently. And without all of those different people's abilities working together, that team can't win. Or think about an escape room. Have you ever been to an escape room? You know what that is? Okay, so you saw in the beginning we did that virtual escape room. So I want to show you a picture of an escape room group of people that I was with back in November. I'm going to put this up on the screen. So you see Eric Wade here, our kids team, Laura, Lanita, Deb, Kat. There's Yuli. There's me. There's Josh. We went to an escape room last November, and the idea I shared, if you were here for pre-service, the idea of escape room is you go into a room, and then you're locked in there, and there are clues everywhere. There's clues all over the room. Some clues are meant to throw you off, and they aren't actually clues that help you, and some clues are meant, but they're usually a lot harder than like figuring out Roman numerals on a clock. But you have to work together, and I want to read to you out of Ephesians 4 here in just a moment, and I want you to kind of think about what the different people here would be like if they were working in an escape room. Okay, so everybody has different parts in an escape room. You know, if you saw the 5 students earlier in the pre-service, you saw some throwing out the numbers, some would answer some of the riddle questions. They all had to contribute. Then they had to agree, because if they didn't agree and they put the wrong answer in, well, they're not gonna move forward. So I want to read to you Ephesians chapter 4, starting in verse 11. I'm going to read 11 through 13, and it says this: Now these are the gifts Christ gave to the church: the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, and the pastors and teachers. Their responsibility is to equip God's people to do his work, build up the church, the body of Christ. This will continue until we all come to such unity in our faith and knowledge of God's Son that we will be mature in the Lord, measuring up to the full and complete standard of Christ. Okay, so he gave 5 different tasks, different roles, essentially, they were all designed, those 5 roles designed to equip the church, to equip the body of Christ, to equip the believers to come ultimately in maturity in their faith in Jesus. So I want to look at these different roles here. So the first one is apostles, right? So the apostles, these are the pioneers, if you will. They are the ones that would drive the efforts to change. Now, if you think of the apostles as having a role in an escape room, it might be the one who is trying the new doors, or they're turning the knobs, or maybe they're pushing the team forward. Like, we got to keep moving forward. We can do this. Are you that kind of person? Are you the type of person who helps? You look at opening doors, you're trying to find new ways, or maybe you're helping the team move forward. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're more like an apostle. Or the prophet. So the prophets in the Bible, these were the ones who would present God's truth, right? And especially if that truth was difficult to hear. If the truth was really difficult for the audience to hear it from the prophets, because it went against what they were doing. God was giving them a word to tell the people, and it was opposite of what they were doing. Basically, God was saying, look, I need you to tell these people, you're my mouthpiece to my people, to go tell them that they're not doing the right things. So in an escape room, it's probably the person that's warning everybody about how much time they have left. Because usually when you do an escape room, you usually have an hour. So it's someone who kind of keeps clock. Hey guys, we only have 5 more minutes. We got to keep moving. Maybe it's the ones they're the ones that are refocusing the team. Like, we got to. You've been doing this over here and this, but this is the task. We got to stay focused on this task. When it comes to escape rooms, do you relate to that kind of person? How about the evangelist? Evangelists in the Bible and today would be the ones who are spreading the good news of Jesus, right? They're the ones who are telling others about Jesus, who he is, and what it means to follow after him. They're the ones who are going out and and talking about Jesus in a compelling way that people understand it. Maybe it makes more sense to them. And that's what is the change inside, because they're hearing God's word and the Holy Spirit starts to convict. So in an escape room, the evangelist is probably the one who invited everyone else to go. So when we did that escape room, that was me. I was like, guys, we're going to go do an escape room. It's going to be awesome. It's so much fun. If you haven't done one, this is what it is. And this is what, and it's also probably the person when it comes to an escape room that's posting on social media afterwards, all the pictures like I did afterwards. Anybody relate to that type of person? Okay, so then we talk about the pastors. Now these are the people in the Bible today that provide care and guidance and comfort to other people, right? It's way bigger than preaching. Okay, the pastor will preach like we're the three of us get to do on here, but it's more than preaching, right? So if you take that role to an escape room, it's a person who's encouraging the team. And maybe somebody's frustrated. They're checking in on me. Hey, how you doing? I know you were working on this puzzle over. How you doing? I just want to encourage you. Keep going. Even if you didn't see it right the first time, right? They're challenging their teammates to keep moving forward. Can you relate to that role? Maybe that's the kind of person that you are. Okay, the final one he talked about was teachers. So the teachers are the ones that help apply what God's word says. The teachers are the ones that help you apply that. They're great at explaining difficult ideas. So when you move it to an escape room, they might be the person that are reading the clues and then explaining what the next steps are from there. That might be that teacher role. And making sure that everybody understands what their role is and what they're supposed to do next. Do you identify with that? See, in God's family, none of us are naturally gifted with everything. All right, we're all given spiritual gifts, and it may not be those 5 gifts. The Bible talks about a bunch of spiritual gifts. You can read those in 1 Corinthians 12 and Romans 12. I think I'm saying these out loud here. Yeah. You can read more about spiritual gifts, but it's all designed to build God's kingdom and to build us to maturity. And we need each other, just like every person on a team needs each other. Growing in your faith is kind of like solving an escape room. It's chaotic, it's noisy, it's challenging at times, right? But we weren't meant to do this journey on our own. We were meant to do it with others. Okay, I want to read one final section here. Paul wasn't done talking to this church in Ephesus about what it means to be Jesus followers. He gives them and us like a whole bunch. And you remember I said earlier the nitty-gritty of what exactly it means to follow Jesus. And I don't know what it means for you to grow in your faith. Maybe you feel like, oh, it's accumulating more Bible knowledge. I just need to know more about the Bible. Or maybe it's going to church. So right now it's going online Wednesday nights. Maybe you go to Sunday services online. Or maybe you go to the Friday night in-person service we're doing at the Rialto campus right now. And we're doing it this Friday at 7 o'clock. But that's not necessarily what it means to grow in your faith. Maybe you think it's feeling more passionate about God. Those things aren't wrong. Paul said the real measure of our spiritual growth is in the way we live out our lives. It's how we treat other people. It's how we act. And I want to read to you a couple things here. Starting in verse 21, says this: since you've heard about Jesus and have learned the truth that comes from him, throw off your old sinful nature and your former way of life, which is corrupted by lust and deception. Instead, let the Spirit renew your thoughts and attitudes. Put on your new nature, created to be like God, truly righteous and holy. Now, he gives this whole long list. Stop telling lies. Let us tell neighbors truth, for we're all part of the same body. And don't sin by letting your anger control you. It goes on to talk about how that anger can get a foothold and it can be bad. Quit stealing if you're a thief. Work hard. Don't use foul, abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful. Like the nitty-gritty of what it means. Like when we start living that out, that's when we're growing in our maturity, in our faith. That's what it means to grow in maturity. Now, going to church, attending Wednesday nights, right here where you're at right now. Go Friday night. It's going to be awesome. We got some surprises coming in September and October. We'll tell you about in the next couple weeks. Go attend Sunday. Be part of a small group, a Zoom small group. You heard Darlene and Carla talk about that earlier. Those things will help you to grow in your faith, just like my Ironman buddies helped me grow in my faith. But we need each other, right? We need each other. And we start living out this way. Just like John talked about that team, they had to rally together to work as a team to beat the counselors. They couldn't do it the way, because otherwise it was chaotic. They had to work together so that they as a team actually matured when they did that. When they didn't have a plan, when they didn't work together, when it was just chaotic and they just went, it didn't work. But the only way they beat them was by working together. That's how it is for us in growing in our faith, is we gather together, whether it's in person or it's on Zoom or whatever it is, or it's right here. We have to do those kind of things to help us to grow. So, Eric Wade's going to come up here in just a moment and finish up this message, but we're going to pause the message, and you know what time it is, don't you? Say it out loud in the chat. Tell me what time it is, ladies and gentlemen, on count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's game time. Game time. So, game time today. We're going to play this game called Are You a French Fry Foodie? You know what a foodie is? People who like foods. Like, when I lived in Oregon, people in Portland, so I was in Salem, we're about 45 minutes from Portland, people in Portland would consider themselves foodies because there's all sorts of different kinds of foods. I live in the desert in Coachella Valley, out by Palm Springs. There's not a lot of chains. Like a lot of chains. But the foodies would be like, no, you got to go to 43rd and Pine to get this very specific Mediterranean. It's Moroccan. Oh, it's delicious. Or, go, and we had food trucks in Portland. Oh, the food trucks are so good. But are you a French fry foodie? Like, do you know? Put your skills to the test and guess what fast food restaurant these fries are from, okay? So I'm going to show you a picture of some French fries. You got to say in the chat what restaurant these French fries are from. So let's go to the first one here. Some of these are going to be easy. Some of them are going to be hard. Okay, this one is one of the hard ones. Now, I recognize this immediately because one of these restaurants is huge in Atlanta where I first started out with my Ironman. All right? Put in the chat if you think you know. Oh, no, this is not that one. This is not that one. This one you might know. Okay? This is, I'm going to give you a hint. Put it in the chat. I'm going to give you a hint. Bottomless. Bottomless. That's your big, now that's a huge hint. I don't know where else you get bottomless fries, but there's only one place. Let's take the answer. Check the answer here. Red Robin. If you said Red Robin, way to go. Well done. They're steak fries. I actually prefer broccoli. I don't like steak fries. I like my fries real thin and crispy. Steak fries, too much potato-y. So I get the bottomless broccoli. I have to deal with the after effects, but I love some broccoli. All right, let's go to the next one. Ooh, where is that? Now this is some curly fries. It looks like some spices on there. Put in the chat, what do you think it is? John's shouting out the answers in the background here, and he's like, oh, I know there's microphones picking this stuff up, so I don't know if you heard it or not. But put in the chat. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's see the answer. Arby's. Arby's got those curly. Now, I haven't been to Arby's in probably 15 years. But I mean, I love the meats, right? But it just doesn't make me feel good. But when I did order fries, there was definitely the curly fries. All right, next one. Where are these fries from? Now, these look like they could be the run-of-the-mill French fries that could be just about anywhere, right? Now, they don't have potato skins on them, so it doesn't look like they're cut fresh at the store, but let's take a look. Where are these from? McDonald's. That's why they don't look like they're fresh cut that day, because they're McDonald's. I don't even know if they're made from real potatoes, honestly. But what's crazy is, again, I haven't had McDonald's in 15 some years, maybe more. But I've taken my kids there because they love it, and I'll get something else. But their French fries are delicious. And I'm not saying this stuff isn't tasty. I love chicken McNuggets with that sweet and sour sauce. Oh, but it's just. All right, next one. Okay. Where are these from? This may be hard to tell, honestly, from this picture. But these come from the greatest, and I don't like to call it fast food restaurant. It's good food fast restaurant. I've got a few of those, and some of them will land on the screen tonight. But Jesus is involved here. Let's take a look at the answer. Chick-fil-A, ladies and gentlemen. Chick-fil-A waffle fries, Jesus chicken. There is none greater. All right, let's go to the next one. Where are these fries? These are crinkle cut. Now, I don't know. I don't think I know the answers to the rest of these. These are the first ones I saw. I don't think I know the answers to these. Look like Ore-Ida fries. You know the Ore-Ida fries you can get in a bag, like they would make at Cane's, which is like subsidiary, like a subpar to Chick-fil-A. Very, very it's not bad chicken, but it's just not Chick-fil-A. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Let's see the answer. Culver's. I have no idea where that is. I feel like there's one in Washington. I don't know. Let's go to the next one. Okay. I don't like them this way, but when I discovered you can order fries well done at places, McDonald's won't do them well done. Or, I mean, Chick-fil-A won't do them well done anymore because they've got these new fryers that cook some extra more now. But I order them well done here, and it changed everything for me. I mean, the burger, for good food fast, best burger, hands down. Did a blind taste test between their Five Guys and The Habit. This one went out. Let's see. The answer is In-N-Out. But that was animal style. Has all that stuff on there. I'm not a big Goop guy, but In-N-Out. All right, next one. These look like what I may have already mentioned. The fries are actually pretty good. I like the bottomless peanuts there, and the soda fountain, which you can choose and make your own designs, right? Is that enough hints? Let's see the answer. Five Guys. All right. Let's go to the next one. These, I'm not so sure. I think this might be a little more obscure. Looks like there was some Photoshop done to this one here. I wonder if it is something that I went to a couple times growing up, and then it was nostalgia when I was an adult and I went to, and I discovered that it was really disgusting. I want to guess it's White Castle, but let's see. Is it White Castle? Oh no, it's Burger King. I don't know. Burger King chicken fries. I don't even know what that means. Are they chicken flavored? Have you had them, John?
No, they're made out of chicken.
They're made out of chicken? So it's chicken meat?
Yeah, it's like a chicken nugget, but it's fry shaped. Yeah.
That is weird. All right, next one. I don't think that belongs on here. All right, this one, I don't know. I'm not sure. They look good. You can tell the potato skins are on there, so it's probably freshly made, unless those are like...
Garlic and parsley.
Oh, it's garlic and parsley. Let's see the answer. Smash Burger. Where's that? I feel like that's another... I'm not sure. I'm not sure. All right, next one. Is that like a tater tot?
Yeah.
Tater tots aren't French fries. I don't know why these are on.
Stater Brothers.
Stater Brothers tater tots. All right, what's the answer? Let's see. Sonic.
Oh, yeah.
Only one thing I get at Sonic. Limeade.
Limeade is
That's it. Besides that, that's a fast food. Fast food really means it goes through you fast, right? So let's go to the next one. I'm not sure where these are either. It looks like it might be I don't know. Is it Jack? You think it's Jack in the Box?
I'm sorry, I forget what they
It's okay. You think? All right, let's see what the answer is. Oh, Wendy's. The only time I have Wendy's fries is when I get a Frosty. Then dip it in the Frosties. When else do you do that with ice cream? I don't know. But I go to Wendy's for the Frosties, and then I order French fries to dip in there. All right, next one. Again, these look like the Ore-Ida crinkle cut. That could be Cane's. I don't know if Cane's is in the list or not, but you guys putting the answers in there. What do you think it is? There it is, White Castle. Crystal is another version, but I think that's in the South. But this was like New York, might be in Pennsylvania. I don't know, New Jersey. It's disgusting. They have what we now call like sliders. but they're like mini burgers. I don't think they call them sliders back then. Like sliders sounds very like a nicer restaurant will have burgers that are sliders, so it makes you feel like, oh, you're eating something elegant. But White Castle.
Landon Lowe says Wendy's is the best restaurant on the face of the earth.
Landon Lowe says Wendy's is the best restaurant on the face of the earth. Landon, you and I need to go to Chick-fil-A, and you and I need to go to In-N-Out. You and I need to go to Chipotle. You and I need to go to Blaze. Okay, if we're going to talk chains.
Tell Landon we're calling CPS.
I need to talk to Jake and Heather. We need to have a conversation. All right, let's go to the next one. This is the last one. I think this is an obscure one too, because I don't know, it looks like it just was late. It was dropped in the street, honestly, with what I see on the screen here. I have no idea what that is. Anybody know what that is? They look like they might be like, it's another version like not tater tots, but like tater, like drops.
Tater steak fries.
Wedges?
Yeah, kind of.
All right. Darling, Carla says wedges. Oh, they're KFC potato wedge fries.
Mandy got it.
All right, Mandy got it. Mandy, way to go.
KFC.
Okay, occasionally I'll stop at KFC if there's nothing else. I'm like in Nowheresville, and I get the extra crispy, and sometimes I just eat the skin because it's so good. All right, we're gonna come back. We're gonna give away prizes tonight, but I'm gonna go to the bumper and send it over to Eric Wade for the next part here.
Hey students, what's going on? We hope you're enjoying this. We're trying something new. We're having a blast. We hope you guys are too, but most importantly, we hope we're learning something through the study as we learn about what it means to be part of God's family, part of God's team. So I want to ask you guys, how do we grow? How do we grow as a team? We grow by choosing to support each other as a team when we have challenges to overcome. All right, as God's family, we have plenty of opportunity to support one another and to truly grow as a team and support each other in that way. There's a lot of instances that we can do that. All right, one or two might be when we have a disagreement with one another, or we misunderstand each other, or even if we're truly angry with one another, or maybe when one of us starts making poor choices. You know, if one of us starts making poor choices, that's our opportunity to come alongside our friend, our brother or sister in Christ, or maybe even one of our family members and say, hey, you as a follower of Jesus know that this isn't right. You know the choices that you're making are dishonoring to God, probably maybe dishonoring to this family, but I want to help you turn away from those, and I want to help you walk along the path of turning away from those decisions and the reason why you're making those decisions, and I want you to get back into following the Lord. That's a great opportunity for us to support one another. Another one might be when one of us is pulling away from God or the church. We've not been in the best situation for these past few months, and we understand that. How many of you guys are here each Wednesday, but you know you're missing somebody that would have been there on a Wednesday night or a Sunday morning had we been meeting in the building? This is a perfect opportunity to come and support one another and to encourage one another and build each other up and saying, hey, we know it's not the same, but we're doing our best and we're still hearing from the Lord and we're still studying His Word together. So I really want to encourage you to jump on a Wednesday night with me. In fact, come over to my house and we'll watch it together. And then a lot of us have small groups afterwards, and we could connect through Zoom and we could still see each other's faces and we could still talk about the Lord and we could still grow in our relationship with Him. And maybe there's another way that we can support one another is when one of us is hurting. When one of us is hurting. But in order to know somebody is hurting is we have to be in that relationship with that person and we have to stay connected with that person, which was what a good team member does, is stay connected with one another, right? Like we saw in our escape room poll just a few minutes ago, a great team understands that its team members all have unique roles, okay? And we all have a different characteristic or a skill set that are beneficial to the situation if and when we work together. Because guys, the reality of it is this, like Pastor Eric said, We're not all great at everything. In fact, most of us have to work really hard to be mediocre at some things. But each one of us was given a specific characteristic, a specific personality, and a specific skill set that will be able to reach one person and be able to encourage them, be able to support them, be able to come alongside them for the betterment of the gospel. And what I mean by the betterment of the gospel is helping one another grow in their relationship with the Lord so that kingdom work could be done. Because that's the whole reason we're here. The whole reason we're here is to work as a team so that the world could see their need for a Savior, which is in Christ Jesus alone. But we could only do that if we're supporting each other like a good team does. You heard Pastor John say earlier, when he worked with his team when he was in high school, they dominated at basketball. And their end goal was to win, and they achieved that end goal when they worked together. But when they didn't work together, what happened? When they didn't work together, they wanted to be the star of the show, or they wanted the fame and the attention to be on them, and their goal did not get met. For we as a church, our goal is to see each and every single person in God's family become more Christ-like in their character. And the only way we can do that is when we put our personal feelings aside, when we put our personal goals aside, our personal ideas aside, and we put others before ourselves so that we could become more Christ-like in our character, so that the people that don't know Jesus can see Jesus in and through us, and the gospel can go forth. That's why we're here. That's exactly why we're here. That's our main purpose for living on this earth. That's why we were created, was to have a relationship with the Lord and to draw others who don't know him to the Lord by the way we submit our lives to him. And we can only do that is if we're working together as a team. So what are some scenarios that we can come and support each other in? How would you support each other in these different scenarios? I want you guys to type in the comments below, or type in the comments in the platform that you're watching. How would you support one another using your specific personality and your specific skill set when some of the members of our group are angry with each other? How would you support one another? How would you help resolve that issue? Or maybe when a member of our group, our church, our youth group has suddenly begun making a lot of bad choices. What would you do? How would you help them? Or maybe when a member of our group hasn't shown up for church for a few months. Like I said, we see each other every Wednesday night, even though it's online, but I know, as you guys know, of some people that haven't been meeting or haven't been seen. Are we reaching out to them? Pastor John, Pastor Eric, myself, Yuli, and all the volunteers, we can only do so much, but we need your guys' help to reach out to those who haven't been seen here on a Wednesday night and try to draw them back in. And maybe you guys would be the only one to reach them. We can't reach them because they look at us maybe as an authority figure. But if they're peers, their friends, you guys reach out to them, maybe you have that skill set as part of our team to be able to reach that person and bring them back. Or maybe a member of our group experiences a big tragedy or a big disappointment in their life. How would you help that person? How would you help that person grow? Or how would that person help you grow without you knowing it, because you're there to support your friend during a difficult situation? Guys, when we come together like a family, like a team, or like one body, we can grow in ways that we could have never, ever done on our own. And we're all better when we're all together. Here are a few ways that you and I as a team can grow together during different situations, okay? Point number one is this: we got to be real with our squad. We have to be real with our team. We have to be real with our people. Growing together means giving other people access to our lives, and it means being honest about what we're going through and who we are. And I hope you feel safe enough to do that here and amongst this group, and if you don't, then we need to talk about it. But the only way we're going to be able to help you and you're going to be able to help us is if we're real with one another. Like we talked about last week, we have to break down that wall. We have to break down that wall that divides us so that we could see eye to eye, so we could sit at the table and have a discussion, and you can see into us and we can see into you and you could see into each other, and we could truly understand who we are, so we could truly understand how to help that person get to the next level in their walk with Christ, or to get through that tragedy that they're going through, or to get through that struggle that they're dealing with. We can grow with one another. We can grow in one another if we're real with our squad. Point number two is we can grow together when we learn with your squad. Just like we're doing here on a Wednesday night. We got to learn together, and what learning together means is talking and sharing and discussing and sometimes even debating with one another. How does that happen? By joining a small group. That's the best scenario for this to happen. That's why we have small groups, is so that we can study together, so we could talk it through. We can maybe even debate a little bit. Pastor John and I debate quite often. It drives Pastor Eric crazy, but we debate a lot. We're not mad at each other. We're not angry at each other. We're not trying to box each other afterwards, right? But we debate. Why? Because it, just like Pastor Eric said, it causes iron to sharpen iron. And we might say something to go, you know what? I got nothing to come back with that. I really need to find out what I'm talking about and make sure that I'm doing the right thing or thinking the right thing. It's a great scenario. And we're friends afterwards, okay? We're friends. In fact, he tries to buy me lunch after time. I say, no, you were wrong. I was right. We're going to move on. But still, we got to talk with one another. I'm just kidding. I love Pastor John. I love our debates, right? But we have to learn with one another. We have to learn with one another. We got to learn from one another. And we sometimes got to learn from one another through having a friendly debate. That's what growth is. Another way that we could learn together and grow together is by adding to your squad. As you guys grow up, as you guys mature, you're going to see that some people come into your circle, some people leave your circle, but we learn from one another by adding more people to our squad. Why? Because they have experiences, they have backgrounds, they have skills that we don't know, that might be foreign to us just because the way we were raised or the situations that we were in. And you can learn from one another by adding people to your circle, and they can learn from you because you're being added to their circle. And I would guarantee that there's even somebody right now watching tonight that is just asking for somebody to invite them into their circle, invite them into their squad, invite them into their small group so that they could learn together. They could learn from each other. And guys, there's a lot of things, like Pastor Eric said when he started his sermon, we're all extremely different from one another. We're all extremely different from one another. And those differences outside in the world might stop us from interacting with one another. But in the church, in the body of Christ, it's the similarity that we have when we submit our lives to Jesus that makes all those differences dissipate. Why? Because we're united in Christ. And in fact, it's those differences that actually brings us a closeness to one another, because we can use those differences to learn from one another and to use those differences in a mighty way to reach the world for the gospel. That's the beauty of the church. That's the beauty of diversity, is that Pastor John could reach somebody that I can never be able to reach. But together as a team, we can make sure that every avenue is being reached for the glory and the honor of Christ Jesus, because we have our specific skill sets. But we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't invite each other in to our inner circles, and we didn't let down those walls so that we can get to know one another, so that can happen. And lastly, a way that we can grow together is by sticking with your squad. This means showing up. It means like setting goals and praying with one another and checking in when we notice that somebody's slipping away. We have to show up for one another. We got to be there no matter what. We have to show up to small group. We have to show up to Wednesday nights. We have to show up to Friday nights. We have to show up to in-services when we have live services happening. And we got to be there to support one another. And when we notice somebody slipping away, we got to show up to be there for them, even though they don't know that they want us to. They might try to push us away, and we show up anyway. We check in with them. We continue. They might not know it or not, but they really want us to check in. It might take some time, but they want us to check in, just like you would want somebody to check in if you were doing the same thing. You might not know it yet, but you know after a while, then your guard gets let down, and you're able to share, and you're able to grow with one another, and you're able to really reach that season in which you were going through a struggle, you're going through a tragedy, or you're just going through a dry season in Christ. And that person was able to help you through it, and then you in turn can help them through something in the future, or you could help somebody else go through whatever that's going through what you went through in a different season. But you got to stick with your squad. You have to stick with your squad. When we're a group of imperfect people, we all know that. We're a group of imperfect people. Nobody's perfect. So growing together won't always be easy, but it will be worth it in the end. I guarantee you it's not going to be easy. In fact, it's going to be frustrating. It might be aggravating, and you might even get upset. But you got to fight through those, and it will be worth it in the end. Some of the closest friends I have in my life were the ones that called me out when I was being stupid. And I didn't like it at first. I got mad at them. I quit talking with them. But at the end, they were right. They were right, and I'm so thankful that they did, and I'm better for it, and our relationship is better for it too. Students, God's dream for you is to grow, and to grow in his faith, to grow in his Christ-likeness. But don't forget what Paul has been teaching us all throughout the series and all through the book of Ephesians, is alone, we're not going to go far. We're not going to get very far in our walk, in our personal lives, and are becoming more Christ-like if we're on our own. But we can grow together as a strong unit, as a team, and we can go places that we can't even imagine. So that's my encouragement to you guys. Who are you guys allowing into your squad? Who are you allowing to speak into your life? And who are you speaking into your life? Who are you growing in your walk with Christ so that you guys can be growing together, so that the gospel can go forth not only in your own personal life, but in the life of your school, your extracurricular activities, your team, your community, and beyond. Let's grow together, guys. Call in on those who you haven't seen here in a while, and I guarantee you they will thank you for it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day they will thank you for it. All right, that's my prayer for you guys. I love you. I'm going to kick it back to Pastor Eric with a K, and we're going to wrap things up.
All right. Thank you so much, E. Wade. Appreciate that, man. I'm loving this series, Squad Up. It's so solid. We need each other. We're designed for community. We're designed for relationship. We need each other, right? So, all right, we got a few announcements before we go to our giveaways. Remember, we said we're giving away 2 prizes this week. I'll come to that in a minute. I want to hit a few announcements. I'm going to go through them kind of quickly because we already talked about them today. But let's go to the first one here. If you're not on Instagram, like if you're not watching us on Instagram, some of you are, right here. Instagram's right there. John's putting his finger in front of the Instagram screen. We have an Instagram page at Sunrise Students CA. Actually, tonight, if there's still time on it, haven't run out of our hour limit. We're gonna do a quick Q&A afterwards, only on Instagram. So when we're done, if you're not on Instagram, you want to jump over to Instagram at Sunrise Students CA. Go up to the stories up there. You'll see us live. You can jump on. We're gonna do a quick Q&A afterwards. You guys got to remind me because we weren't planning on that, so you got to remind me about that. Secondly, YouTube. Maybe you're on YouTube right now, so you don't need to know this information, but if you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram, we got a YouTube page. You just go to YouTube and search Sunrise Students CA. That's what we do for everything. Or you can go to this bit.ly/Sunrise Students YTB for YouTube. Check us out. Subscribe to us both on Instagram and YouTube. Click the subscribe or follow. Then go to the notifications. Get the notifications so you know when everything is happening. All right, next one. Small groups. Eric Wade talked about this tonight. He talked about the importance of small groups. The whole idea, this whole series, Squad Up, we're talking about small groups. If you're not in a small group, go to sunrisechurch.org/students right now, or as soon as we're done, jump over to sunrisechurch.org/students and click on small groups, and then sign up for one. Somebody will contact you within 48 hours, and we'll get you plugged into a small group as early as this weekend. Most of our small groups happen on Sunday afternoons, but there are some small groups that happen right after service tonight. There are some small groups that happen on Thursdays. All right, small groups, super important. You need to get in your squad. All right, next one, last one. Tithing. You know what tithing is? Basically, it's taking what God has given you and giving back. We get to steward. We get to manage, essentially, what God has given to us throughout our life. Like He's given us abilities. Maybe you have a job and that's how you earn money, or maybe you get an allowance. Our kids get an allowance, but they essentially earn it. So they get a wage, in a sense. There's some chores we have in our home that are like everybody has to do certain chores. Then there's extra chores that if they don't do them, they don't get paid. So, but 10% of that or more, the Bible says, give generously whatever you've determined in your heart. Give that and give it generously and joyfully. God loves a cheerful giver. The Bible is really clear about that. But you can send it to Sunrise Church, 2759 Ayala Drive, Rialto, California, 92377, or you can drop it off at the campus that's closest to you, 12 to 3, any midweek day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right? That is it on our announcements. Now, we want to give away some prizes. All right, Eric's going to bring the prizes up on the stage here, but we did one game. We did one game at the beginning of pre-service. You missed pre-service. We did an escape room, and we had some students come on with us where we did it on Zoom. If you want, by the way, if you want to do that, if you want to be part of our game next week, just DM us. Whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, if you're on YouTube, you're going to have to send us an email. You can send an email to students@sunrisechurch.org. Students@sunrisechurch.org. You drop us an email. Let us know that you want to be part of the game. We'll take a bunch of you into the game next week. We'd love to do that. So first thing first, this first giveaway is for one of the 5 people who played our live game, our escape room game. So we're going to go ahead and spin that, and you'll see Maddie, Lily, Alicia, Landon, and Kaylee on there. All right, ready? And stop. All right, Lily De La Cruz. Congratulations, Lily. Everybody in the house here's cheering. Now, Lily, this table here is filled with prizes. We're going to go to the prize wheel here, and you can see we've got Mike and Ike's, Raisinets. We got this table basketball thing. Looks like this. We got a pool game. Looks like this. We got table football. We've got a ukulele. We've got like this. It's like a 1.5 foot thing of gummy colas, Skittles, Sugar Babies, Raisinets, Dots. John, you can't take the candies for yourself, John. We're giving those away. Get out of the screen here. All right, so we're going to see what Lily De La Cruz wins. Let's spin that wheel. Lily won some Raisinets. Eric Wade really likes these. Congratulations, Lily. We'll be mailing you your Raisinets. We're gonna go back into the magic box. We're gonna put everybody, whether you've been on Instagram, so stop it. Hand it to Yuli or one of the girls. They'll figure out how to put it onto our IGTV, and then we'll start live again. But so here's the deal. Now we've put everybody who was on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. We've put everybody in there into the magic box. Yuli's actually dropping them all together in there because we had a few names, those 5 names in there first. She's taking those names out, and then, she's including all of them in there because, hey, Lily could win again because she's here for the comments as well. So we'll put all the names into the magic box, all right? Now you guys, we're going to go ahead and spin the names. Let's see all of the names coming through. Hopefully you see your name running here. Oh, I'm seeing lots of names. I see. It's funny, Instagram names, they don't have to be like our legit names, right? Or YouTube. So sometimes there's funny names in here. I'm seeing names with X's and all this. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, stop. Luke, congratulations, Luke. Way to go, Luke Michael. You won. All right, now we're going to see what you won, Luke. All right. We're going to go ahead now. I need you in the comments to shout, spin that wheel. Nice and loud. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Spin that wheel! Mike and Ike's. Luke, you win a box of Mike and Ike's. We're going to keep the other prizes in the mix for future. But congratulations, you won yourself some Mike and Ike's. We're going to get that to you as well this week. Hey, we love that you're on here. And Carla, or Curla, as she's known on Instagram, is working hard on getting Instagram. You got onto IGTV. She's going live. So if you want to join us for our after party on Instagram, jump over to @SunriseStudentsCA. We're live, yeah? Yep. All right. Jump over there. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do something different that nobody, if you're on YouTube and Facebook, jump over to Instagram, @SunriseStudentsCA. We'll see you there. Besides that, if you want to join us Friday night for in-person live service at Rialto campus, outdoors, socially distanced, masks are required. They take your temperature when you come in. Or you want to join us for a Sunday service, get plugged into a small group if you're not. Huge for your life. Otherwise, we'll see you next Wednesday. God bless you. Have a great one. Bye. Oh, I'm gonna have to go over here and do this myself because Eric Wade just walked out of the room, and I'm gonna end the service. Eric just came back. He's gonna end the service.